Okay, all our marks are lined up. We're getting ready to change the spark plugs, then we'll change the wires, then the rotor and the cap. The first thing we're going to do is pull the battery, and there's two reasons. One, with the power out of the way, there's no chances of shorts or other problems, so it's a good safety piece. The second thing is we got to fix the battery tray anyway, like we talked about in our last segment, and this will give us a good chance to clean it up and get a little more room to work. So we're going to grab our wrenches. Pulling a battery is not brain surgery. Don't think I need to show you how. Be very, very careful. Disconnect. I always disconnect the positive first and then the negative. Be super cautious about not touching positive and negative together, or letting your wrench contact positive to negative or positive to ground. That's how you get sparks, that's how you get fires. But it's not a big deal. A little bit of caution, you can do it yourself. So we're going to get the battery out of the way here on Real Builds. Okay, now we're going to lift the battery out. It's unhooked, the brackets are off, what little there was left of them. And when we take it out, we're going to set it on the floor, but not on the concrete. We've got a series of wood blocks to set it on. If you put a battery on concrete, might be an old wives' tale, lots of guys say it is, it'll discharge and it'll go flat. Then you need a new battery. We don't have a budget for a new battery, so we're not taking the chance. Too many times I've left a battery on a concrete floor over the years, come back and it's dead and wouldn't take a charge again. So I just don't take the chance. I'm going to use my wooden blocks, lift out the battery, and get her safely on the floor. Now, we've got to reinforce that particular piece, and we need to have a proper hold down. So I was off to the parts store and we picked up a couple of J-hooks for a whole $5. And I was talking on the phone with an old friend and mentioned I was looking for some scrap sheet metal. He had a bunch, dropped it off to me tonight. So we've measured the size of the area we're dealing with, cut a trial piece that we'll show you in a second. If that fits properly, we're going to paint it, screw it in, and it'll be plenty strong for what we're going to be doing. So we'll just turn around here. And focus in on making things fit. Now what we had to do was measure a couple of times, always measure twice, cut once, do a trial fit, cut the piece, do a trial fit, and it took a little more trimming after that. It took 3 or 4 tries to get it to where it is now, and it just fits in nicely. We're going to be able to sheet metal screw that right into place. And then on this edge, we're going to push it back, screw it into the tray mount, and then fold it over and screw it there. So it'll be way stronger than it used to be. It's galvanized steel, so it's not going to go away anytime soon. And it's a good solid repair. Then all that's left is figuring out the mounting. So we're going to do a little trial fit with the screws and be back to you at Real Builds. Now you can see how that's laying in nicely. We're using a self-drilling, self-tapping screw so that it holds it securely to the strong steel underneath. Galvanized steel's got lots of strength to carry the battery. So we're just going to continue and put a few more screws in, see how it looks, make sure it's secure, and then we're going to get to fitting the edge. So what I mean by that is we want to make sure this is ultra secure. So right along here, we're going to run a series of screws in, then fold it over and run in 3 more. That way it's a double lip, making it even stronger. At this end, there's good strong steel to about the 2/3 point. The holes, you recall, were up in here. So we want to make this ultra strong, stronger than it was from new. So here we go again. We're going to do some screw installation and be right back. Now you can see how that's fit in real well. The damaged areas are covered. There's a ton of support. We've got the screws in from this side that's providing support. Now what we're going to do is fold that edge over so we can put more screws in, keeping everything super strong. So I'm going to find a 2x4 and a hammer, and we'll give it some wax. Okay, we've got our hammer from our tool kit and a 2x4. We're just going to fold it right over. There we go. And 3 more of the self-drilling, self-tapping sheet metal screws. Well, we wrecked that one. We'll just change bits here. One moment. Sorry about that. Killed the battery in our drill. So here we go again with a fresh battery. One. Oh. And last but not least, line up. And there we go. Everything's buttoned up. That and a coat of paint, we've got that battery tray bottom finished. Okay, that's been a really productive Friday night here on Real Builds. We have the battery tray repair done. We still have to put in the plastic shield and the hole down, but it's done and painted and looks really good. We got the spark plugs changed, plug wires changed, rotor and cap changed, so our ignition side is all the parts that need changed are changed. And tomorrow we tackle the big one, the carburetor. It's time for the carb to come off. We're going to go through that process and then we're going to overhaul it. So it's going to be a busy Saturday here on Real Builds. See you then. Okay, so back to the battery tray. As we finished up last night, we had the pan in, everything fitting really well. We needed a hold down. Now I had this old hold down lying on the shelf, so what we did was we massaged it on the concrete floor so that it now sits the way we want on the battery, and it lines up with where we want to put the holes. So we're in pretty good shape that way. So we're going to set it outside and give it a quick squirt of paint to make it look good. The battery itself is fine, and then it's a matter of positioning where we're putting the J-hooks and drilling a couple of holes. Okay, here's pretty much where we ended up last night. Now we trimmed our plastic battery tray, trial fitted the battery in, measured everything, cross-checked against our upper bracket, and determined where we want to put our holes. So we have our drill, and we've marked right on the metal where we want to go. So we're going to drill a couple holes. Didn't get the drill bit quite tight enough. There we go. Those are the initial holes. Now we got to go a little bigger so we can get our J-hooks in. So we take this bit out. There we go. So now that's all that's left to do is, once we finish with the carburetor, reassemble, and we're all set with a repaired battery tray, new bracket, everything's safe and sound and as strong or stronger than new. And that's the whole goal on Real Builds, is safety. And having a lot of fun. Meantime, we're going to clean up. We're going to let the carburetor soak for a bit, and then we'll be back with the overhaul on Real Builds. Okay, you can see how we've got everything hooked up on the carburetor. All the vacuum lines right back where they belong. Everything where it needs to be. We've checked it several times to make sure all the hookups are correct and everything's in place. So, the last step for us is going to be putting the battery in the battery tray. So let's take a boo at how we're doing that. Now, what we had done was replace the base of the battery tray. Screw in a new piece of metal, get everything painted. It's now all dry. We've drilled 2 holes that will line up with these 2 holes on our battery hold down, and we took a battery tray that we had, cut it a little bit to length, made sure everything's clear, and we're going to drop that into place like so. Now we use our J-hooks that we picked up the other day. We get them into place. by hooking them into the holes we drilled. Like so. One. Oops, dropped her right out. We'll get our wing nuts to tighten everything up ready. Our washers. And our other J-hook. So, now, again, we'll get the hook back in place. And just keep it where we want it. We'll put the wing nut on it for the moment so it doesn't fall through again. Now I'll put the other one in. A little more white. It's probably painting everything black. This one's making me work. Do.
You happen to have another bucket?
No, I don't, sir.
Genius. Is that for cleaning off the glove? Could I use this pan?
You could.
Got it. I'll just use this. This thing.
Don't. Okay.
Right here? Got it.
Yep.
I was wondering if I was allowed to, and now it's been confirmed. Watch out.
There we go. Now we got it in the way we needed it. Little visit from the child, my darling son. See, that's the problem with a real build. You get real interference. And that's okay most of the time. It's a good thing to get the kids involved, a good thing to get friends involved. Everybody has a good time. So now, we're ready to put the battery in. Go. Things in place.
And
Now we take
these two.
top part. Washer. Now for the back side, same steps, just a little harder to get at. And with a little more jiggling, we'll get it in place. We'll be right back after we put everything back in place. There we go, and you can see how it all sets in there now. And just a few more twists on here. And our battery is permanently attached. Now all that's left is hook up the battery cables, double check to make sure we have all the vacuum ports covered, and then we're going to give a chance to fire her up here on the Wheel Builds.